I was born in a strong Christian family, and what was and is been my identity of my life. When I have to talk about my birth, where the doctors came with a negative report, and they told my parents that the fluid from the child's brain is leaking out through the ear. And the doctor they said that the child will live only for 24 hours of time. And after getting that reports, my parents started to cry a lot and they started to pray in the presence of God. And my mom, she was a very courageous and strong woman. And as she was praying and she felt the presence of God, and Jesus revealed a vision to her. And God showed Moses leading the people of Israelites among the Red Sea. And after seeing that vision, my mom came to a conclusion and she made a commitment to the Lord and she said, God, if you give my child alive, and I will surely name him as Moses, and I will send him to serve you as a full time servant of God. And that is where my journey began with Jesus. My mom was working as a government school teacher, and on the other side, she was serving God as an evangelist. Through her ministry, were thousands being touched and being transformed and being dragged towards the presence of God. And on the other side, if I have to talk about my dad, he was working in film industry. His profession was a costumer. Since the background of my parents were both different, in the year of 1999, where one of the actor was being invited to our church for a Christmas event, and as I was dancing, and that actor, he came to my dad and he asked him, who is that little fellow? He is so energetic. So he is my younger son. Can I take this little fellow and make him to be a child artist? And my mom, she came and she told that actor and she said, sir, I didn't encourage or I didn't motivate my son to get into such path, because she said I completely dedicated him to serve Jesus Christ. After when I got into my pre-university, my focus completely changed, because my dad, his motive was I should work and I should earn and I should live with what I have. Since he was into a secular field, he never encouraged me to get into full-time ministry. But on the other side, where my mother, she was so encouraging me and she wanted me to get into full-time ministry. And it was a very hard time for me. At the time of my final exam, that is where I faced, and it was completely unexpected because I failed in my exams. I was completely broken. I didn't know what to do. As the day passed on, I went to my bedroom and I knelt down in the presence of God and I started to pray and I asked God, what was the mistake that I've done in your sight? Please tell me. Let me not do the same mistake anymore in my life. At the time of my second PUC final exam, after taking a wrong choice, I changed my focus. I said, Lord, let me become an engineer, since my dad is backing me up only to work into a secular field, but not to minister for you. And that is where Jesus spoke to me so clearly, and he said, at the time of your birth, your mom, she dedicated you to serve me as a full-time servant of God. When you stepped into your pre-university, your vision were completely different, and that is why I allowed such thing to happen in your career. And I was completely broken. I was filled in tears, and I asked God, forgive me, Jesus, for the mistake what I've done. After completing my secular studies successfully, and I surrendered myself to Jesus to do full-time ministry, and that's where I started to journey along with my mother to different parts of South India. And as God was using me, my dad was watching me so closely because he was the one who didn't want me to get into ministry. The testimonies where people were sharing, it really touched my father. And one day he came to me and he said, "Son, do what Jesus wants you to do." And I really cried on that very day, and I thank God for speaking to my father. And after getting into the full-time ministry, it is not so easy. On April 26th of 2020, where my parents, both of them, they've been affected by coronavirus, and I didn't know what to do, and we have to pay a huge amount for their medical bill. And I came back to my home and I knelt down in the presence of God and I told Jesus, "And you are my provider. Till this day, you have provided all my needs." And when I prayed, and he said, "Son, do not worry." And suddenly I received a call from one of a person, and that person, he said, "Son, I'm sending so much of money into your account." Though financial problems comes up, I never lost my hope in Jesus, because the more I started to pray, the more miracles are happening in my life. The vision which Jesus has given to me is to share His gospel through praise and worship and by producing good songs. If God can touch and heal, and if He is able to deliver a baby who was about to die, and if He can do greater things in my life, who has led me thus far, and He is the same unchanging God who can do greater things in your life. My name is Bigin Moses, and this is my story.